Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have an action-packed makeup edition, and since I haven't done makeup since Mardi Gras of 2003, I have with me today Jaime Smith.
Hello.
Jaime is a friend of mine who does makeup. She is wonderful, and she's going to talk us a little bit through her process. So if you've seen my photos online, the makeup is very specific, and most of the time I always ask people to either do no makeup or very little makeup so that we can retouch it in post, or get a professional makeup artist like Jaime in to actually do it. Why is that, Jaime? I just put her on the spot. Did you see that? She wasn't meant to answer that question. I was supposed to say, so Jaime, how long have you been doing makeup for?
Should I answer it now? I'm not sure which one you're answering. I have been doing makeup for almost 11 years.
Yeah.
And my background is in clothing design, which is what I did originally. And then when I moved from New York City to Hong Kong, I decided to do something else within the same creative realm and went back to school and started my own business and became a makeup artist.
Yeah. So if you look at makeup comes and goes in styles, right? But with the headshot, you want that headshot to last a couple of years.
Right, timeless.
Yeah. And if you do makeup that's overly fashionable before you walk into the studio, there's not much I can do to change it. So you're going to have to be happy with your headshot for the next 2 years.
Right. What I want to do is I want to work with their face. You want your portrait or your headshot to look like yourself, right? And you don't want what I do either, the makeup, to change that. So we just want to enhance your features.
So without further jibber jabber, as my girlfriend says, let's get on with it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
So we're gonna do Isabel's headshot makeup. We're just gonna ask her some questions and I'll talk you through the whole process. A lot of times if we leave the moisturizer on that you have, it might have some light reflecting properties in it. So on the areas that are too dry, I'm gonna use more of a hydrating primer. And on the areas that are too oily, I'm going to use a little bit of more a smooth silk mattifying primer. This is actually highlighting foundation. And I'm just putting it on all the high points of your face, and I'm doing this underneath your foundation. And just so that helps shine through your foundation. So now I'm going to go on with a light to medium coverage foundation. That's a serum foundation. Now I went with a slightly more yellow foundation for you because your skin actually has a lot of red undertones. So instead of trying to match that red undertone, I want to counterbalance that red undertone. Make sure I don't forget the inner corner part of the eye and the outer corner part of the eye, which are the most discolored areas of the eye. I'm going to use this great bronzer, and we're going to warm up your skin in the right places so we can add some dimension back into it again. And I just move around. If I put a little more on that side, and I want to add a little bit more on this side. So you can't just look at one spot and then be like, okay, this one's done, now I'll do the other side. You have to keep comparing back and forth. If you watch on YouTube and you see different ways that you're supposed to contour in all the places, it's not necessarily for everyone. So you have to look at the specific face shape of your client, of yourself, and then know what of that contour you should use and what you shouldn't. So same place I added that foundation that had the highlight to it before. This is just some extra oomph. I'm just gonna have you smile, because you will be smiling in your portraits at one point. And I'm going to apply on the apples of the cheeks, but also bringing up just a little bit so it helps lift the face. First thing I always do with eyes are the brows. So first step with brows always is we brush them up. Even if you're not gonna fill them in, male or female, you always want to brush them up and over. Now, my trick with brows is that I don't do the same color as your brow. I do about 1.5 shades to 2 shades lighter than your brow color. I don't want them to look, especially in this sort of picture, really defined, but I do want to define them, and I want it to almost look like a shadow behind the hairs that are already there, already existing. So if you stop your eyebrows too short, then it can make your face look more squash. If you don't come to enough of a point, it can make you look more angry. I'm gonna use this NARS primer that has a bit of a tint to it. So it's almost gonna act, not only is it gonna be an actual shadow base, but it's gonna be the base of your eye look because it already has a tint of color to it. And then I like to put a little bit underneath the eye. So look up for me, and I'm just gonna run it along the lash line. Now I'm gonna go in with a bit of shadow, but as a trick actually, instead of closing your eyes, I'm gonna ask you to look straight into the mirror, and then I can see exactly where your crease is. If your eyes are closed, it gets a little fiddly, but if your eyes are closed, then you can't see exactly where the crease is. You're kind of just making it up, and then you open your eye and it could be in the wrong place. So now you can close because I already have my marking, and I'm just gonna blend it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with some eyeliner, and I like to use a brown eyeliner because it's more neutral. And I'm gonna go as close to the lash line as possible. Okay, now I'm gonna take a brush and I'm gonna blend that because I don't want this to be like a harsh cat eye. I just want to really thicken and define the eye. Okay, open for me. Okay, close. So that's another thing. If you're doing your own eye makeup, you tend to keep your eye closed the whole time, and then you open it in the end and you're like, oh, that's not what I thought was happening. So what you want to do is you want to keep between steps opening and closing your eye so you can see what you're doing and how it's coming along and how you need to go back and change anything. So I'm going to tight line. Have you ever tight lined your eye before? Okay, so that's where you do the inner upper waterline, which is like flipping up the eye and doing the wet rim. So I'm going to go in with our powder. So after I finish, don't look up. All right, and I don't always do bottom lash mascara on everyone, but I want to do a little bit on you. If somebody has really, really long bottom lashes, sometimes you don't want to because it'll just end up looking spidery. If somebody has really, really short lashes, then there's no point in doing it either, and it just adds to the risk that it could make it black circles under the eyes. I'm actually going to do a really natural lip on you. I'm going to do a little bit of a liner just to define them, but very little, and then add like add a tinted gloss to them.
And that is how you do makeup. I used to be a woman. Now I'm a man. Thanks, Jamie. You know where to contact her. Details down below. And if you like this video, slide the subscribe, touch the like, and we'll see you in the next one.
Ears.
Yeah.
Some makeup artist is gonna see this. She's totally taking the piss.